wait, how are all these people showing up to like an auditorium where they're gonna watch it just seemed kind of silly. Like I'm not saying that orgies don't exist. I just don't think that you buy tickets to them. You know?
Right. What's up, YouTube? It is Drive-By Movies coming at you with another episode of
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And this week we are reviewing The Lovebirds, directed by Michael Showalter.
This is some Handmaid's Tale bullshit.
We have impostors.
Oh no, imposters. That sucks.
Everyone unmask yourself.
Oh shit. Nobody else took their masks off.
This film is starring Issa and Kumail Nanjiani, and this is Showalter and Nanjiani's second foray in filmmaking. They previously did the film The Big Sick. So I have to say this was originally planned as a Paramount release around, I forget the exact date, but it was supposed to be recently.
I believe a month ago.
It did get, a month ago. So it got shelved, and then they just decided to sell it to Netflix. I have to say, I think that was a great decision on their part. People are desperate for entertainment right now. I haven't actually heard a lot of people talk about this movie, but I think they should be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a better stay-at-home movie. I could see it being very disappointing to people seeing it in theaters and just like, it's just a watch. And for me, it was entertaining, like new content for us, but I just technically wasn't into it. I'd say stick with The Big Sick. Personally, first and foremost, I love them as a couple. I think the chemistry is there. They're a cute looking couple as well. But just what fell flat for me was just the script. They don't really have any great jokes with it. It just relies on them being funny. And while they are two very funny comedian and actors, I just think what they were working with wasn't that great. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say that is interesting that you say that, because I know a lot of people are saying, check this out for the leads, check this out for the leads. Like, people love the leads. Like, you have Issa does Insecure on HBO. People love that show. Nanjiani, everyone loved Big Sick. People are really stoked that he's going to be in that new Marvel movie, and he's ripped. So you just have this movie going into, we know a lot about these leads. We want to see more of them. You get a movie with just them in it. But I agree with you. I think the script was weak. There's some instances, let alone just the jokes and comedy, I don't think is always there. But when it comes to the chemistry between the main actors, I thought that was a lot of fun. Like, even when they're bickering, like, just their characters in general, and like when they're getting put in these situations that are somewhat ridiculous, is really entertaining. Mm-hmm. But like, the only thing is, I do wish there was more jokes like in the film. I think it works fine on Netflix. I agree with you. I think if we saw this in theaters, we probably would be a little bit harder on it. But I think at home, it was entertaining. It made for a good Friday night. I enjoyed it. I laughed hard when Nanjiani got kicked by that horse and like couldn't breathe. Yeah. Like, that was killing me.
Yeah, there were some funny moments in there, and I'd say that was, like I was saying, with the downfall of the movie, there's very little jokes. Like, there's a lot of funny action moments, but I mean, for anyone who, enjoyed the movie, like, can you name really just, like, one joke from the movie off the top of your head? That might just be me. I can't name one, which is a bummer, because I really wanted to like this movie. I've been meaning to check out Insecure, but I thought the opening of this movie was great, and I was stoked for it, but it's just, like, nothing about it really felt original to me, just because we've seen lots of movies where couples are thrown into crazy, violent, action-packed night out of nowhere. Like, I mean, there was that movie with Steve Carell and Tina Fey, I remember. I think that movie's called Date Night, and then even Game Night is kind of a similar premise. I'm just not really a big fan of, like, action comedies. I don't know how they became a thing. Like, I remember Rush Hour was one of them, and that kind of, there's been other ones, but that and, like, Beverly Hills Cop, I felt like ignited it, but those are still technically more action-esque movies. But then The Hangover came along and made a comedy with tons of action, and I've complained about this in other shows and reviews we've done, just like, comedy doesn't always need action pieces, and I thought it worked for Game Night, but for other movies like this, it's just falling flat for me. I'm kind of like done with this genre. I feel like I'm just like, I have fatigue with this genre.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that, and I get what you're saying there. I think that, the action set pieces weren't that big in this, but in general, like, every like the whole plot revolves around them going from here to there to there, and there's always like hijinks in each moment that because there's no jokes, it's really all you're focusing on is the, the action. Like, all right, we got to hide from this guy, or oh, this guy's doing this. And some of the scenes, like, I felt like they didn't really fit in the movie, like especially the like Eyes Wide Shut scene. Like, it just seemed like an homage to Eyes Wide Shut. It didn't make sense. It's also just felt super unrealistic. That I know they're trying to go for the comedy aspect, but there was no jokes. Like you said, there was no jokes there. So you're just focusing on the fact that, wait, how are all these people showing up to like an auditorium where they're going to watch it just seemed kind of silly. Like I'm not saying that orgies don't exist. I just don't think that you buy tickets to them,
Right. Again, though, this does feel like a movie, though, where it's a good intro to comedy. If you're like 13, 14, eager for like a comedy, like the movies that I like was only had access to, or like Malibu's Most Wanted. If this is the movie that you're starting with, then I applaud you. I'm stoked for you. I'm glad that you're a step ahead of me with where I started with Malibu's Most Wanted. So that movie doesn't hold up. Whereas this movie, I can see it holding up in the future. Maybe I just watched it in the bad light or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I just hope that this isn't like this is kind of disappointing if this is that last kind of time we see Kumail Nanjiani before, he just sets sail on that Marvel ship. Because if this is the last thing, is like, okay, we got the big sick. All right, Lovebirds was okay. Okay, I guess you're an action star now, Right.
And I feel bad also because he's one of the funniest characters in Silicon Valley, but he was always kind of the joke of the show, which I always felt bad because he's better than that, I'd say. He was always falling into the punchline and literally the punching bag for the character of Guilfoyle. But yeah, he's a hilarious guy, and I hope he still keeps getting roles. I feel like he hasn't been able to get that hit movie yet. I mean, Big Sick was like a hit with critics, but I hope that he gets his hit, and I'm sure the Marvel movie will be a hit. But
yeah, I was going to say that's probably what it is, and it doesn't help that he's kind of stopped doing stand-up. So, I mean, he's probably still, knows how to do stand-up. I'm saying he's not out there regularly hitting the roads. He's a busy guy now, especially having to work out so much. So I just hope we do get more comedy from him. Like, I think he's hilarious. Like, even his stand-up is freaking hilarious. I love the guy, but I just hope that, he's been dialing back on everything lately, that this kind of comes as a little bit of a disappointment. I wish there was a lot more. He was pretty funny in this movie. It would have been so much funnier if maybe he helped write the script, because I think that was one of the huge strong suits of The Big Sick, was the fact that he wrote the script with his wife. It was hilarious. They're writing what they know. I'm not saying like maybe they're out of stories. They obviously didn't write this script. Maybe they're not, but if they maybe help punch it up at points, I feel like the filmmakers were just relying way too much on the improvisation from the actors, who did pretty good, but it just can't all be on their shoulders. Like, I was really impressed with what they put into it seemed like, but and what they made their own. But I just wish that script was just punched up as much as possible before, making a movie like this.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, pretty much, yeah. Even though I was disappointed, there's a lot to like. I look forward to seeing some outtakes for this movie just because, like I said, the chemistry is there. But yeah, if you want to check out the movie yourself, you can watch it on Netflix. Be sure to do that. And by help supporting us, you can actually just leave a comment, let us know what you thought about the movie.
Definitely. And if you haven't already, guys, click that subscribe button, click the notification bell. Go watch this movie on Netflix. It's worth the watch.
That's going to conclude this week's episode of Fresh Releases. Tune in next week for another new video from us, Drive By Movies.